My name is Dr. Michael Brown, and this is 3 Words, a bite-sized podcast about the simple and yet very strategic choices that all of us can make in order to grow, evolve, and become the very best version of ourselves. Today in the studio, we talk about apologies. We talk about those words, I'm sorry, and how oftentimes they're expressed in ways and at times that are not helpful and even unproductive. Listen in. Sammy, another conversation here on 3 Words. Thanks for being here today.
It's good to be here.
I'm excited to engage in probably one of the most unique conversations we've ever had.
Yeah.
But first, a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Sammy, born and raised in Nigeria. I'm a pastor, speaker, writer, dad, husband. Wear a lot of hats, but I love people, and I'm in the people business. So,
Which I think in many ways makes this conversation
That's right.
really, really important and personal.
Yep.
These 3 words for today.
Stop saying sorry.
You know, I will tell you, I tipped off someone before this episode. I was
Yeah.
like, we're going to have a conversation around these 3 words. And the person looked at me and said, that doesn't make any sense. You're telling people to stop apologizing?
That's
I was
right.
like, I don't think that's where the conversation is going to go. But
Yeah.
let's see where the conversation goes.
That's right.
Why is this important to you?
Because on a personal level, and I think I can say this generally for humanity, that one of the most basic needs that we all have is that we want to be fully known and fully loved. We've talked about this before, right?
We have.
That's what we all want. And one thing I just started realizing in my life is apologies were like a mask, right? It was shielding what was really there. And so the reason it's important is because I want to be fully known and fully loved. And I felt like saying sorry had become a shield or a mask that was actually standing in the way of the very thing that I wanted with people, authentic, real relationships. And so in order for me to get that, I had to start apologizing less.
So I am curious then, what kind of fear is behind those who are over apologizing, you think?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of things. I think there's an insecurity there. I think there's a fear of disappointing people, right? And so it's almost like I'm trying to get ahead of it before it happens. And so if I can over apologize to you, then maybe I can reduce the chances of you being disappointed in me in whatever the scenario is. And so it's kind of a safety card. It's a hedge, so to speak. But what ends up happening, I think I found, is that it does the opposite thing that we want it to do. It continues to create distance. It actually doesn't bridge the gap between the people that we're trying to connect with. When obviously there's times where you genuinely need to apologize, but the apologies that actually lead to intimacy are the ones that are truly vulnerable and truly honest. But I think in our culture today, saying I'm sorry is just really to fill a word. It's I'm protecting myself. I'm really thinking about myself. You know, I'm trying to protect myself from disappointment. And that's why we just kind of throw it out there any chance we get.
I'm going to hit pause in my conversation with Sammy right now to invite you to share this episode with someone in your life that is always apologizing without wrongdoing. Now back to the conversation. Well, and we've talked about in other episodes, and even we've talked about just in our relationship, the value of learning to apologize and to say I was wrong and I'm sorry and when you forgive me.
Yep.
But apology should be reserved. I'm curious what you think about this. I think apology should be reserved for wrongdoing and for offense, as opposed to I'm feeling insecure or even inconvenience.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts about that?
No, I agree. Like, I think it's almost like we don't know what else to do. And so we just kind of throw it out there. And I think it does then diminish it when those moments come when we actually need to apologize. You know, we actually need to own up to something. And so it's like we're taking this thing that's supposed to be this precious opportunity, you know, where we resolve conflict with people, and we've just made it. You know, it's like taking something super duper valuable, your china, you know, and then just giving it to the kids at the table to just kind of make a mess out of it, you know. And so part of what I'm kind of hoping will happen through this conversation and in me applying and saying sorry less is that when those moments do come, when I do need to say I'm sorry, not only is it weightier and more meaningful, it actually means something to the person that you're talking to.
I agree. And so you said something really profound. And so let's just go there. You said, we don't always know what to do.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to do. Yeah. So we go this route. So what should we do instead? Like, can we talk about some real life examples on instead of, I'm sorry, what do we do instead?
That's a great question. So I think sometimes part of it is that we feel like what the world needs is less of us. So when I come in a room, right, I feel like if I'm fully myself, I'm doing the world, I'm doing you a disservice. And so saying sorry is almost a way of diminishing myself, because I think that that's what will make you happy and make everybody happy. But really what the world actually needs is for me to be fully me and for you to be fully you, and that there's enough space for you in all of your brokenness, and in all of your imperfections to be able to step into the space and be fully known and fully loved. And so I think some of it is that it forces us to deal with some of the insecurities that we would prefer not to look at. So it's a lot easier for me to tell you that I'm sorry than it is for me to deal with the real reason why I feel like I need to apologize, even though I haven't done anything.
So showing up fully you, taking off the mask and showing up fully you, it's not that people need less of us, they need more of the authentic version of us.
That's right.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I did not expect you to take the conversation to this place of being fully known and unconditionally loved, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because at the root of some of those trite words of sorry, or it is really a deep insecurity, potentially people pleasing, a lack of confidence, and sadly, a lack of self-worth, a misunderstanding of this incredible identity that God has created us to be.
Yeah, that's right. And I think part of it, honestly, is sometimes I think in faith communities especially, I think that we have I would say an unhealthy view of what confidence and humility is. And so the reason I'm saying I'm sorry is because I think, well, that's the humble thing to do, but it's actually not humility. It's actually my insecurity. I'm actually thinking of myself, and so I think part of that adjustment is we just don't know how to be confident and humble at the same time. And so the easy low-hanging fruit is to just apologize. But in a lot of spaces, I think what actually people gravitate towards, I think what earns people's respect is not only when you're confident, but when you're able to stand on your convictions. Like an example for me is, I found myself sending an email back to someone, because I couldn't do something because I had to do something with my kids, and I was like, I'm sorry, I had to and then I was like, why am I apologizing for making time to do the thing that not only matters the most to me, but if that person knew, they would commend that. They would say, you should have done that instead of this. And so, but it was just so easy for me to just I'm sorry. I don't want to disappoint you, but what if we actually it actually gets us the thing that we want?
What if we just said, thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend, for thinking of me. However, I have a previous commitment with my family. Period.
Yeah.
No apologies in there.
That's right.
We could play out so many scenarios. Or, hey, would you like to come to dinner with me tonight? Oh, sorry. No, I'm previously committed.
Yep.
I have other plans. Check in with me maybe in 3 weeks.
Yeah. But people respect that. And isn't that what you want? I think that's what I want, I also don't want my friends to just I'm sorry. Like when people say that, you respect that. There's something about that that's okay, the mask is off. I'm actually not disappointed. Most of the time, my respect for you actually grows, in that season. But like I said, I think it's a mask. I think it's a way for us to not focus on the thing that actually matters,
I love that you've taken this to a whole new level in regards to motives and fear and insecurities and so forth. But it is true that, and maybe it reminds me of a podcast episode I did. I forget who the guest was, but we talked about practice saying no.
Yeah.
And I think in many ways, what you're saying really accentuates that idea that if you never tell me no, just straight up no, instead of boundary, I don't believe your yes.
Yeah.
If you never say no to me, I don't believe your yeses.
That's
and
right.
I think when someone says no, that's gracious and kind, but sets a boundary, I think you're right. We do respect them. And you've also taken this to a new level to help me think about, Sammy, and our listeners and viewers, that oftentimes when we're just saying sorry, it sounds like the humble thing to do.
Yeah.
But anything that's all about me is not humble.
Yeah.
It's selfish.
That's right.
And so typically we think about apologizing is for the other person. I'm apologizing for you.
Yes.
No, I'm actually sorry for me.
It's actually for me. That's right. Yes, that's right.
So good, because you're taking it at a deeper level, which means if I can deal with the belief system behind why I keep doing this, my behaviors will begin to change more sustainably than if I just say, okay, stop saying sorry, stop saying sorry, stop saying sorry. Now, I would suggest, I think it would really be fun for our viewers and listeners to maybe monitor and maybe just take a note.
That's right.
Maybe put a little check mark on their hand every time they say sorry in a day. What if we went and did a sorry fast?
Yes, that's right.
For 24 hours.
No more sorries.
I mean, you're in the religious community, so you understand fasting, but not food, but sorries.
From sorry. Yeah, that's right. No, I think honestly, so obviously there's a relational element to it about being known and fully known. But I think it's important to just talk even about from a corporate team context, right? Like for me as a team leader, one of the most frustrating things when I'm leading a team to or something is when people just apologize. I'm sorry I said, I'm sorry I didn't. I'm like, no, because it's not about that. Like we're trying to come up with the best idea, right? Especially when you're in an industry where you're trying to serve people or do something for others. And I'm like, the best thing you can do, because that's the process, is you bring your ideas, I bring my thoughts. We're going to fail together. We're going to figure it out together. But the goal is to come up with the best idea. And the more we just keep saying, I'm sorry, that actually like derails the system and the reason why we're here.
Yeah, I love people who speak honestly and give real feedback. I mean, we could go down that path for a while, but I don't necessarily want everyone to say, I'm sorry I didn't get this done. Let's just talk about teams. I'm sorry I didn't do that. I'm sorry I said that. It's like, just take personal ownership.
That's right.
I don't need an apology. I need a behavior change. I need a new action step. And instead of just saying, I'm sorry, because sometimes the I'm sorry's don't change action. They just kind of like put off, almost justify the fact that I didn't do a thing. And it's okay that I didn't do a thing. It's okay that I wasn't a great leader because I said I'm sorry. It almost allows this excuse making to take place as opposed to a genuine apology for what it was designed to be, wrongdoing.
Yeah, and you see that, I mean, you're in the sports world, right? You see that, like a football player fumbles, like they're not like, I'm sorry. Like they own it. Like they'll be like, okay, that was on me. Like like it's like they own it. They accept responsibility. I mean, imagine if that happened in sports and everyone apologized every time they missed a shot. Every time Steph Curry doesn't hit the shot, I'm sorry I shot. I'm sorry. It's like, no, it's like that's not good for you. It's not good for other people. Right. And it just obviously makes it about you.
And so again, in the sports performance world, it's like, I'm okay, next play. No one wants you to pause the game.
That's right.
Call a timeout and say, I'm sorry, fans. I'm sorry, everyone. No, just get on with it.
That's right.
So let's get practical in our final few minutes. Obviously, we need to replace the I'm sorry's with what? Like, what are you suggesting? Obviously, dig at the deep level, figure out, is there identity issues? Am I trying to please people? Is there insecurity? I need to deal with that. But even practically speaking, and maybe I'll just start off, instead of saying, I'm sorry I couldn't attend. But thanks for the invitation. But I can't.
Man, such an honor. I'm so honored that you invited me to do that. Thank you for waiting.
Oh yeah.
Like,
sorry, I'm late.
I'm so sorry. It's like, hey, thank you for thinking of me. Like that meant a lot. Like I'm honored. Like thank you for the kind of space where I can just throw ideas out there. And like just kind of being able to reframe the narrative so it's not just bringing it back to us and feeling like we have to be able to, and just being honest. I think sometimes just saying the thing that you're actually thinking, rather than, taking the cheap route and just saying, like you said, either saying no or saying like, that's just not something I can do right now, but maybe in a different season.
So my best friend, Bo, who obviously has been on several of these episodes with me, we were just chatting about this yesterday, and we had this kind of funny moment where I was kind of teasing him about something, and he kind of pushed back a little bit, and he just said to me, he says, this isn't a place where I feel like I need to apologize or even, but there's this tension kind of in the air. But he's like, can we just commit to this? When you feel like you need something, just say it. When you feel like you want something from me, just ask for it. And so, and then there doesn't be, without an apology, without kind of like spinning it or going around it, just say it. I was like, there's so much freedom. In just saying it. And I think in many ways, what's striking me right now, Sammy, is this idea that sometimes the sorries are causing me to avoid the thing that most needs to be said.
That's right. It's like, because even when you think of the word sorry, the idea is that I feel remorse, right? It's like when I come to you and I say, Michael, I'm sorry that I did that. It's like I feel remorse and I'm expressing it. But I think a lot of times remorse is not what we feel. I feel insecure. I feel fear. I feel inadequate. But it's a lot harder for me to just say that. It's just easier to say I'm sorry, And so part of the reason I think it's hollow oftentimes is because the words don't actually match what we're actually feeling and going through in our minds.
I'm hoping that as maybe our listeners and viewers have heard you here for the first time, they're going to go back in time and start looking up all the episodes that we've done together, because you always take it to a place where we do not expect, into a place that actually is more comprehensive, more holistic, and actually gets to the root issue. So thank you for taking a topic that seems a little provocative and actually taking it right to the root issue so that we can actually change from the inside out. It's always a pleasure having you in the studio, Sammy. I look forward to our next conversation.
It's a lot of fun.
Hey friends, if you enjoyed my conversation with Sammy today, I would encourage you to visit my website, dmbcoaching.com/subscribe, where you can actually subscribe to our digital newsletter, where there's lots of tips and ideas about how to become the better version of yourself. Until the next conversation, we'll see you in a few weeks.